It's my pleasure to be in Kigezi region, and I'm so glad to be here for a number of reasons. First of all, I find the people of this place very open-minded. Interestingly, I was coming to Kigezi and I was reading a newspaper, a column by one of the people from Kigezi region, but who stays in the diaspora, saying the people of Kigezi are open-minded. They want to hear ideas. They will listen to all presidential candidates. And I'm glad to say that that is exactly what I found in this region. People are open-minded. There's a lot of people who want change, but then there's a lot of people who are open-minded as to what kind of change they want. And they are asking very interesting questions, issue-based questions of what do you have for this region, for the people of Kigezi when you become president. And those are the kind of questions that I want to hear, because there are so many problems that are not just okay. There are those that are unique to this place, but then there are those which are, general across the country, and everybody is asking themselves the same questions: how are you going to solve this issue? And when I come to a place like Kigezi, especially actually the whole of Kigezi, I see, of course, a great deal of potential for wealth. Of course, it's very beautiful, and you can scarcely find a place, this beautiful. And when you come here, you're almost sad that you have to continue on your campaign trail, and you wish you had come here to chill because of the beauty of the place. I like the cold weather and so on. But the beauty aside, there are so many things that this region has in terms of potential to make people rich. And of course, my whole campaign is about making people rich at a personal level. That's what I am all about. And when I come to Kigezi, it's not that difficult to see what we can do to make the people of Kigezi rich. For one, of course, we can talk about the potential this place has for tourism, for great amounts of tourism, and that's something that can bring a lot of wealth to this place. And I have been somebody who is favorable to having an airport nearby. I suggested Kigezi because it's near so many important things. First of all, of course, there is a big airstrip which can be upgraded to an international airport. That's the important thing, international airport. And I said there's a number of reasons why that will improve, the wealth in this part of this part of southwestern Uganda. For one, there are very few tourists who want to come and land in Entebbe and spend 8 hours on the road. That takes a whole day of their time, and usually they have 5 days, 6 days at most in Uganda. So they don't want to travel a whole day to just come to the place of their interest. And for the most part, a lot of the places they're interested in are this side. There's all these crater lakes in this place, wonderful, beautiful places. There's, of course, the windy, impenetrable forest not far away from here. And going further up, there are national parks and so many game reserves in this place. So there's a lot of interest in this place. But the trouble has always been the distance traveling here. First of all, there has been issues of roads. And the roads, our road network is not good and it's not safe at all. And recently there was tourists who died on their way coming here. So now we cut that away by reducing the amount of travel time that was, so they can fly straight into southwestern Uganda, they can go and climb Mount Renzori, they can go to the crater lakes in Toro or in Kigezi region, they can go to the Gwindi Impenetrable Forest this side of Kisoro and Kigezi here. They can go to Queen Elizabeth National Park, just an hour or so away from where they land. So it is minimized travel, and there is a lot of potential there. Now imagine using just the same windy forest. Majorly, Rwanda has almost the same number of tourist arrivals as Uganda. I think in 2018 they were talking of 1.7 million tourist arrivals. Uganda was 1.8 million. That's very sad because we have so many other things to offer that they do not have to offer. And even the gorillas that they have marketed very well, we actually have a majority of them. 53% of those gorillas are in Uganda. Rwanda has only, I think, 17%, less than 20. The rest of them are in Congo. So they are making more out of the little that they have than we are out of what. Now, if we actually promoted this region as a real, tourism hub, there is a lot of money that can come. Remember, every tourist lives between $1,000 and $2,500 where they come. When they come in this place, even for a few days, they live minimum of $1,000, but it goes up to $2,500 on average. So now imagine all that money coming here in these hotels here, in all the services this place has to offer, and in all the other things that this place can offer. There's cultural tourism, which is a very big thing. There's a very rich culture in this place, which can bring people. Actually, cultural tourism is the third biggest thing that makes people move, to just go and see other cultures, because they can get game parks from elsewhere and what, even if those are important, but the cultures, there are things which are unique. So if the people of Kigezi can market their culture and make it, a big thing, which of course would help them to do, just out of cultural tourism, they can get a lot of, money coming here. Imagine all those arrivals coming to this place and leaving a minimum of $1,000, but actually topping up to $2,500 within a short time of us marketing this place. The country benefits, but especially Kigezi benefits. That's a lot of money to put in a place like this, and it will transform people's lives. So when I come to Kigezi and I'm looking about financial liberation, how can I make people rich in Kigezi? The answers are just right there. Number one is tourism. The second thing is has a lot to do with the agricultural potential, and the fact that there are so many things which are being produced here, which we are importing from other countries. Some of the biggest fast food chain outlets in Kampala are importing Irish potatoes from Kenya. That's not good at all, because there is a lot of Irish potatoes they can get from here. So now why do we have to go to Kenya for Irish potatoes when we can get them from here? But you see, when you don't have a government that really cares about the welfare of people, people can just go about everything they can. But we can say, we have Irish potatoes here, very good soils. I don't believe there's anything Kenya can do that we can't do in terms of agriculture. It is not there. We are blessed with better soils, better climate than they are. Okay? Uganda has half of East Africa's arable land. The other countries share the other half. That's a big thing. So, in terms of agriculture, there's so much that we can do to make everybody's life here better. In terms of tourism, so much that we can do to make everybody's life here. In terms of utilities, okay, which are still a big problem, water, electricity, which should not be a problem. Okay, I fail to understand why Tanzania, which buys some of the electricity from us, actually has much cheaper electricity, yet they buy from us, and much more stable. Okay, Kenya gets some of the electricity from here. It's cheaper there, even Rwanda. How is that possible? Because of course there's the monster of corruption and so on. So if we get out of that and solve the electricity issue, make sure that we can preserve all these trees and what, by making sure that there is a strong penetration of electricity in Uganda. Currently, I think we are about less than 20%, something between 18 and 19% of the electricity penetration across the country. So trees cannot survive because people need energy from somewhere. Now, if we increase that penetration to around 50%, remember we are producing about 1,200 megawatts of electricity, and we are consuming only half of that. That includes even the one with the same Tanzania and Kenya. It's just over 600. So we have an excess of 600 megawatts of electricity, which is not being utilized, which actually government is paying money, about 30 billion shillings every year, for it to be stored, because it's produced and not used. So the storage costs money. And yet there is, very intermittent electricity around this place. There is no assurance of having power of any kind, not just here but across. So if we deal with the money in people's issue pockets through agriculture and tourism, if we sort the utilities of water and electricity, and if we can improve the quality of education, which has gone so bad, I'm telling you that I see there was a survey which showed that a majority of primary school teachers cannot have the level of proficiency that is expected of a P7 person. Not the students, the teachers themselves. That was a study that was done by some foreign, I think NGO or something like that. And I was reading part of their study, and it was shocking. Now, when I look at some of the students that we churn out of our schools, the kind of books, and I'm not talking about something that we are aspiring to get, I'm talking about something that we had. When I was in school, By the time I finished P7, the level of literacy that I had, reading, the books I could read, I remember the volume of books I was reading in my P7 vacation. In S4, I was reading. Now, you find even university students who cannot read anything close to that, who have finished university. There's something that happened to the quality of our education. So people are coming out of universities who do not have the requisite levels of basic literacy, okay? And then there is also courses that are not helping in regard to what it is we are promoting. Now, there is a tourism course in some of this, whatever, but we want to make it more practical, because that's where we are going to be focusing a lot of our money, of our energy. Because the World Bank report says that Uganda can make $10 billion from tourism with just simple $30 million marketing of ourselves. Because tourism is about marketing, okay? Tourism is about, so $10 billion, that's a lot of money. That's the entirety of our budget for this is 12 billion, all our budget. So $10 billion coming from tourism, that's a big money. So if we channel a lot of people through that to understand the unique things in this country, to sell them, to be able to sell them, because you find a typical person, even from Kigezi here, who does not know anything that is special, that is in this place. And then you find somebody coming from even another country, and they spend a week here, and suddenly they are so enchanted by the beautiful things in Kigezi, and a person from here cannot describe. So what do you have in your place? He doesn't know, and yet he should be in position to say this is special about Kigezi, this is special about Kigezi, and so many things, because there are so many special. Even somebody who does, like me, who doesn't come from here, when I come here, I am so blown away by the beauty, the different climate, the absence of the heat and so on. So it's a beautiful place. So there are so many things that run through my mind that I can do, but I've just mentioned a few top of my head. Tourism, agriculture, getting markets for our produce. People produce things, but they struggle at the level of finding a market, because number one, we are importing things which we are not supposed to be importing, which can be produced by our people, so that we cannot encourage our farmers we cannot help our farmers get rich when we're importing things they can produce. Then if you sort that, you sort the markets issue, and the utilities issue, quality of education, and quality of healthcare, which is also very low. Just those few things. In 2 years, in a matter of 2 years, people's lifestyles are better. Our life expectancy is higher. People have more money in their pocket. There's generally more money in the place, and nobody is struggling to find 3 meals a day if they wanted to. Maybe those who are watching their weight can have less, but those who want to can have 3 meals a day. There's the issue of market even for dairy. That has been a big problem here. People having a lot of milk but selling it at very, very huge losses. And they are selling a litre at 300 shillings, a litre of milk at 300 shillings, and that same litre is being sold in Kampala at 2,500. That means somebody in between is making an abnormal profit, and that's not fair to the farmers. And those are the middlemen who have been set up by this government. So we have to change that. Make sure that the person who is at the lowest end of production, the farmer, the herdsman who has his milk, and all these people get the bigger share of their, the bigger value from their produce, so that they get rich, and they are the majority. They are 75% of them. So by just taking away that exploitation, you make 3/4 of this country richer. It is not rocket science. It is so easy, and it is what I intend to do. And every place I go, I know exactly what I can do to make the lives of the people of that place better. And that is what my heart is. My whole campaign is about that. How can I put money in people's pockets? And people don't have to worry about school fees, worry about money to take children to hospital and so on. It is sorted. They have enough for that, and enough left over to have a decent life. You can find them in that sort form of lifestyle mindset, but it immediately changes for 2 reasons. Number one, people demand money if they listen to you and they realize you don't have anything for them. So they say the only time I'm going to receive it, like this government, there's nothing Museveni is going to tell anybody, and you think he's a liar, everybody knows it. So you just say, give me money, let me go. That's all you're going to get from him. You're not going to see him again for 5 years. Now, when I come with a different mindset, first of all, I don't have all the COVID money and all student government money with me. They know that. But if you come and somebody listens to me, they realize that actually I don't have to get money from this person if he is actually meaning what he says. And in a short time, they realize I mean what I say, because I have all these things at the back of my head, and I'm speaking things not like somebody who just has read them somewhere. Somebody who comes and studies and goes around. I came through all these places before I stood for president. And I walked around and asked people, how can we do this? How come this is like this? Why are people poor here? What is the main activity here? How can we change people's lives here? A year ago, I knew I was going to stand for president, but I hadn't come out. So I just come here without, the burden of all this. And I talk to people privately. And I found out from farmers, I find out from people who are involved in the tour industry, I find out from hoteliers and so on, what it is that they want. And I'm just asking out of curiosity. So the thing is, people only demand money when they realize that's all you have. You have no ideas. I'll give you an example. It's like you go to ask a girl out, and she realizes you don't love her, it's just a momental thing. She'll say, okay, give me money, because that's all you have. Okay? But then somebody goes and says, I love you, I want to marry you, I want us to build a life together. She's not going to ask him for money. So it all depends on what they perceive in you. So if somebody goes and she sees a future in you, a future that involves her, she's not going to come out up front and say, give me this amount of money. Actually, if she does that, she doesn't see a future in you. However, if she sees a future in you, she's actually going to even scale back her needs and so on, and be very calculative of, even if she's in need, she will not immediately put it out, because she knows that this is a long-term thing. Now I am selling a long-term prospect for Uganda, not a short-term one. Now the short-termists are coming, selling different things. For one, it's selling money. For the other, it's saying we hate this man, he has to go, and so on, and all those other things. I am selling something long term, because even when he goes, what next? Are you sure we are going to have the future that we want? Have any of the other candidates actually offered a clear-cut path of how to make people's lives better than myself? And the clear answer is no. So when people listen, even those who, and I can tell, those who have bought into the financial liberation message, when they come, they say, they come with this attitude of, there's money, presidential candidate, he has money. By the time they finish the questions they're asking, but how are you going to safeguard your votes? Now you see now that somebody whose mindset has changed. Now he has changed from I want money to the point of safeguarding your votes. Then you say that is a heart that has shifted. Then they say, okay, what if we vote for you? Do you have people to safeguard your votes? And so on. Then the next thing you know, the man is saying, how can I join your team? Okay? And he's joining your team voluntarily. No money. Then you know this person sees that I am not playing for a one time. I'm playing for keeps. I'm not waiting. He says he finds them in a line. They don't want to hear you. They just want you to start giving money. They say, you've had 5 years to talk. Don't waste our time. Just give us money. A man, some gentleman told me, listen, the man stood on the pulpit to talk. He said, you man, what are you talking? You've had 5 years to talk. I am here, my wife is here, my children are home. Just give us money and we go. And that's the mindset. Because they know those politicians, they are not interested in them. Okay? Really, they are not interested in them. Now, it's easy to say when I'm standing. But the truth is, I am actually interested in the welfare of the people. And it is genuine. It is not me just saying. It's from my heart. And every time when I'm moving, I find somebody, yesterday I told the story of how I went to Kazinga channel and the man was convincing me to go down the channel, and I asked him, how much money do you get? How do you receive? What's like your good day's income and what? And I'm just asking him questions for nothing, and we're just conversing. And I'm finding out, how can I make this man's life better? I wasn't even campaigning that time. I didn't even ask him for a vote. He didn't know me. I didn't know him. But I was just finding out, okay. So it means that all these people earn off tourists. The man says he earns 70,000 shillings a day on a good day. I say, if I increase the number of tourists, all these people earn money, and they don't need the government except to bring more tourists. Yeah. And after that, the man moves away from peasantry to a middle class, middle income, and that's a good thing. So how many of those can we have? Then the country starts thriving. We cannot be richer than the people in the country. That was a fallacy. That was a lie. That a country, Uganda, can be rich when Ugandans are poor. It's not possible. The reason America is rich is because Americans are rich. It starts from the people and the businesses that thrive. And then after that, the country. Now, with the poor people, we will have a poor country. And it's always going to be that way. But poverty has been used as a political weapon. Now, that's why they are closing all NGOs, which they suspect might bring money to support candidates, because there is somebody who knows the only thing he has to say is, here is 10,000, vote for me. Here is 20,000, vote for me. But if he stood there without money, and I stood there without money, I can tell you 100% of the people who listen to us would vote for me. 100%, not one would vote for him. If he had no money and I had no money. And it is just ideas. So he knows the only advantage he has is money. Stolen money, of course. Now he's going to make sure other people do not have the money. So this is the sort of elections we find ourselves in. But the truth is, eventually, we'll preach the message of financial liberation. And people who are financially liberated are politically liberated. Because if these people become, okay, I imagine I am the president, I fulfill my promises. 5 years from now, all of you people, including you people, have a lot of money. You have, have bought lands, you have cows somewhere, you have what? You're living middle class income, but you're still a journalist, okay? But you have a lot of investments behind you. Then I come to interview you. Now, I have to convince you, I can't give you money. You have money of your own. You understand? there is nothing to offer you. Now, all politicians who come to you at that stage, nobody's going to give you 20,000 to vote for them. You're rich. You see? What is 20,000 going to do? That's just a few liters of milk from your cows, which you have. So, now politics becomes about ideas. And that is what I am all about. I want to turn our politics away from peasantry of give me, exchange, into ideas, where you have to sell ideas for people to vote. Now, when I come as a middle class person, you're asking me, what do you have for us? Eh? And that's the only, if my answers are not satisfactory, sorry, I'm not giving you a vote. So we've elevated politics to that politics of idea. And that is my plan for this country, where politics is about ideas. There is no other way we can develop as a country unless we start having politics about ideas. Yes, there is. I've covered a lot of the districts. I've covered West Nile, I've covered Acholi sub-region, Lango sub-region, Teso. I've been to Busoga, I'm going to go back there. I've been to Busia Bukedi region, I'm going to go back there one more time before the election runs out. There are some places in Buganda I haven't been to, but I have some time there in Buganda, especially this other side of Buganda, the western side of Buganda. I have time even in the other side of Buganda, the Bulemezi side, that's Luero side and so on. I have time there. From here I'm finishing Kigezi, I'm taking the upper route, Kasese, Toro. I've been to those places before, but I'm going back there. Kasese, Toro, Bunyoro, then I come back to Kampala, then now I go back. Then the New Year's I'm in Karamoja, back through Teso. So I'm going to cover as much as I'm going to cover. The truth is I can't cover all districts, because you see even here in Kigezi sub-region, I'll do 3 out of all the districts. I can't go to Rubanda, I can't go to Chiga, because there are 146 districts and we have only 60 days to campaign. So I go to the major, to the major cities or districts or town centers in those places, and I focus on that and then use a bit of radio. So I'll do what I can. And I know my places where I have support, okay? And I know where my message has gone out, and I know where my message has been received, and I know that there's a lot of quiet support for me in the places, and people who are determined to, to go ahead. And I have a lot of volunteers who are moving, carrying my message. Volunteers. So, and the beauty of volunteering is, when somebody volunteers, their heart is with you. If I had money to give them, they would still do, but I don't know where their heart is, because they can be doing it just for the money. But if there is no money involved and somebody says, okay, if this is what you promise us, and you mean what you're saying, I'm going to go and do whatever it takes to to canvas support for you. Now you know that somebody who has you at heart. So that's a beautiful thing. I will cover as much as I can, but I've covered already a lot of the country, and there's still some parts I have to cover. Thing is, there are 11 candidates. You cannot. It's not easy to ensure that there is no clash. And then there are some districts where, for instance, if my schedule says I'm in Ruchiga, Rwanda, Kisoro, for the most part, most likely, I would even be spending a night in Kabuleta and then going to Ruchiga, coming back. And that's expected. Now, when I go to Arua, I'm covering West Nile, but I'm going from Arua, let's say to Jumani, to Koboko and then coming back to Arua. So now if somebody is in Arua and I'm supposed to be in Koboko at that time, we might clash in Arua, but I'm not officially there. I'm in Koboko, but I go there and come and spend the night in Arua. So you go and be in one place and cover so many districts from there. So how do you ensure that there are no candidates clashing in Kampala? Because people who are campaigning in Luwero, in Jinja, all of them would, if they are from Kampala, would come back and spend the night in Kampala and then go out the next day. As long as the clashes don't cause issues. Because yesterday I was in here and I believe there was another candidate here. And yet for the most part, I try to make sure I don't clash with Museveni, because there are issues that come with that. Because he's not a candidate, he doesn't behave like a candidate, he behaves like a president who is just going through a process of being recrowned. So I try to, but the others, there's no problem as far as I'm concerned. The Electoral Commission map, even, you'll read it. They will have me in one district and 2 other candidates in one district. And as long as one of those candidates is not Museveni, I don't mind. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for listening to me, the people of Kigezi. I love this place. I love the people of this place. I love the fact that they have been very welcoming, very open-minded, and were promised that, and actually found that here. And now I thank you that I found some support here, and I'm asking the rest of you to give me your support. Vote for me. I am the kind of change that you want. And I can tell you that with a straight face. I am the kind of change that you want. And all the things that I speak about them from the bottom of my heart. I'm not just saying them in an election cycle. I know that I would say them even if I was not in an election cycle. This country deserves better. Thank you.